So I'm here at St. Margaret Mary Catholic Church in Chino, California, and I thought I'd give you guys a little information about the Roman Catholic Inquisition. It was not a single monolithic event, but a series of tribunals spanning several centuries. While historical myths sometimes claim millions died, modern academic consensus, based on preserved trial records, estimates the total number of executions across all inquisitions to be in the tens of thousands. So while it wasn't a complete disaster that Protestants had often claimed, there were still a lot of deaths, and there was torture as well. I'll get to that in a second. But so the main Inquisition was called the Spanish Inquisition. It ran from 1478 to 1834. Modern historians such as Henry Kamen estimate that out of the roughly 125 to 150,000 prosecuted cases, about 3,000 to 5,000 actually resulted in a death sentence. So 3,000 to 5,000 deaths in the Spanish Inquisition. The Roman Inquisition of 1542, Italian historian Andrea del Colle estimates that out of the 51 to 75,000 trials, approximately 1,250 resulted in a death sentence. And then the Medieval Inquisition of the 12th to 14th centuries. Records from individual inquisitors such as Bernard Gui show that only about 2 to 3% of cases were handed over to secular authorities for execution. And then there were witchcraft trials as well. So historians estimate that between 35,000 and 60,000 people were executed for witchcraft across Europe, but the vast majority of these were conducted by local secular courts rather than official papal inquisitions. So I guess that wasn't necessarily the Catholic Church's fault. At least not fully. Okay, so let's move on to torture. So this is where things get a little bit weird, or evil, I guess, even more evil. So, in the ecclesiastical courts, torture was not meant to be a punishment, but rather a legally regulated mechanism to elicit a confession. Church law, or Ecclesia non novit sanguinem, otherwise known as the Church Knows No Blood, forbade clerics from inflicting lethal injuries or mutilation. Therefore, torture had to stop short of permanent damage or death. The most common methods used included the strappado or la garrucha. In this method, the victim's hands were tied behind their back, and they were hoisted into the air by a rope attached to the wrists. Weights were often added to the ankles to increase the stress on the shoulders. That's just lovely. Then there was the rack, or el potro. In this method, the accused was tied to a wooden frame, and then inquisitors would turn a roller or lever that stretched the victim's joints, sometimes causing them to dislocate. Nice. Then there was water torture, or toca. So, in this method, a piece of cloth was placed over the victim's mouth, and water was slowly poured down their throat, creating the sensation of drowning. Then there was squassation. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This was a specific variation of the strappado, where the victim was repeatedly hoisted up and dropped with a sudden jerk, violently jarring the arms and the shoulders. So, with all of these methods, if the victim confessed under the torture, they were required to repeat the confession freely the following day without the use of torture. Because of the extreme brutality involved, inquisitorial law strictly required a physician to be present to stop the interrogation if the subject's life appeared in danger. So, I guess the Inquisition was all about forcing people to admit that they weren't, quote, Christians. But I mean, why did the Catholic Church insist on murdering people and torturing people in order to accomplish this goal? I don't understand. It's just pretty evil. I mean, there's really no way. There's really no, even though the number of death sentences was fewer than originally thought. Still, there were thousands of people murdered, basically, and who knows how many people were tortured. So it was a pretty awful thing that happened, and it was instigated by the Roman Catholic Church. So I just wanted to let everybody know what the situation was with that. I hope you're having a good day, and I will talk to you all later.